Hello everyone, I'm Arglefump. This is a review for Sammy Keys in The Power of Justice Jack. This is a very good book. I forget what number it is in the series, 13, 14, or something. I don't know, but I made sure to read it with my superhero bookmark because it's pretty awesome like that. So, I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty divisive book in the series. Like, some people are going to like it, but some people are really going to hate it because it's not really focused much on the mystery. It's more of a comedy, this one. And in fact, like halfway through, or 2/3 of the way through, I'm like, what's supposed to even be the mystery of this book? And there are like two options which Sammy doesn't really want to investigate or try to investigate. Somebody stole a big statue from City Hall. Sammy doesn't even go to City Hall. She doesn't try to investigate. She does not care in the slightest. Okay. Well, the other big mystery is that the next door neighbor, Mrs. Wedgworth, just took a bunch of people's money and left town, and they are mad, and so they're trying to steal Grandma's key so they can break into Mrs. Wedgworth's apartment and just steal any valuables from there that they can to pay back the money that she stole from them. And again, you know, this kind of directly affects Sammy because she has to like hide whenever the people appear. She even has to stay like inside the Grandma's apartment for one full day. But you know, Sammy doesn't investigate. She doesn't try to find out where Mrs. Wedgworth went. We never really do find out where Mrs. Wedgworth went. It sounds like she went gambling. And she comes back and returns everybody's money, I think like 2/3 of the way through. And she takes a pretty hefty cut. Was it like 25%, something like that? And then she's still got like $5,000 to $10,000 left over. And she said, well, that doesn't go to them because that's my rake. And she used the word raked to describe the 25% she took off of everybody else's money. So I'm like, where did that come from? Is this a different rake? It sounds like she won a bunch of money and took 25% off automatically off the top. And then when she was distributing the money back to people, she took another 25% off. That's what it sounds like to me. That was the feeling I got from that. She does have a bit of a serious talk with Sammy afterwards, and Sammy finds like the $5,000 in the closet, saying it's like, Sammy, you know, I'm sorry for being mean to you. You really should use this money to go to college. And Mrs. Wedgworth dies. Wedgwood, whatever her name was. She just straight up dies. And Sammy, it's like, I wish I could say I've never seen a dead body before, but that's not true. I've seen like 6. And it's like, when you put it that way, it's like, wow, she's seen a lot of death in this series. When Justice Jack talks to her, he lists off her exploits. Like, she stopped a meth lab, she stopped kidnappers, and all these things. And it's like, yeah, when you put it like that, she's done an awful lot for a girl who's still in 8th grade. But still, Sammy decides she's going to, try harder in school and sort of become, she wants to go to college. Now she actually has money to go to college. And she needs to catch up on school. So she has the most unbelievable scene in the book is she has Hudson go to the school website and look up her grades and missing assignments and stuff. And she does tech support for him over the phone. And it actually ends up perfect. Like, whoa, no way. Doing tech support for an old person who has never used the internet before, and when you haven't been to the website yourself. Sammy barely knows about computers because she doesn't have one. So I found that to be like the least believable scene of the book. Oh gosh, that was so terrible in high school, and I did do tech support for my parents over and over and over again. That was just, it was a nightmare. Okay, anyway, the other big, Sammy's life thing, a couple other big Sammy life things, like her mom's soap opera is ending, so nobody knows what's going on with that. Is she going to move back or what? What's going on with that? Also, Marissa falls for Danny again, which, you know, Danny's like, I've changed, really. And no, he's not. He's still, making out with Heather and doing terrible things. And he just wants Marissa to just be gaga over him and do whatever he says. And that really causes a rift between Sammy and Marissa. And so that, like, Marissa instantly dumps Billy and goes running back to Danny, even though she never dated Danny. Like, they aren't a couple. He's still, like, going out with Heather, but, yes, just, yeah. So I didn't like that very much. There is sort of a mini mystery with, like, Lars, this guy named Lars who runs away with his girlfriend. That gets mentioned like 2 or 3 times, and it's like Sammy doesn't bother to investigate that. The real mystery, I want to know how they made things like fall through the ceiling at the very start of the book for their Sinterklaas celebration. That's what I want to know. That's my real mystery. But the main storyline is about Justice Jack, who is a superhero. And I thought it was great. That was fantastic. I love Justice Jack. It's like, what if 1960s Batman was real and somebody's just running around town trying to stop crimes? And he's doing minor things like, handing out clothes for the needy and, chasing down shoplifters at the mall. Stop, thief! And it's funny because he thinks Sammy's the greatest, and he's just really kind of a dope, but he's so sincere, it's great. And he keeps getting sidekicks, and they keep, like, fizzling out because they're terrible and don't really care. And, like, one of them's drunk the whole time. I just thought the Justice Jack stuff was funny. It was hilarious. But I can see people saying it's like, yeah, it's funny, but where's the story? I could see that complaint, like, and the mystery, because I mean, even when I flipped to the middle, I had to flip to the book. So the summary says, when Justice Jack, a self-appointed superhero, begins trying to track down the missing Mrs. Wedgwood and some stolen cash, the older folks in Santa Martina are delighted that Sammy knows it will be up to her to really solve the mystery. That's not an accurate summary of the book, because Sammy doesn't even try to solve the Mrs. Wedgwood case, and neither does Justice Jack. No, he doesn't. Like, he basically kind of ignores the mystery, too. Billy becomes his sidekick for a while, and that's funny. That was good. So, I guess I'll jump to the end. Spoilers. Justice Jack is half of a phony and half not. What happens is that his mom and her partner have basically been faking it. They've basically been trying to make Justice Jack look like a superhero because they're hoping he could get a reality TV show. And wouldn't you know it, like, the reality TV show guy seems to like the idea. And be honest, I would like the idea too. I wouldn't mind seeing that reality show of somebody trying to be a superhero in real life, because it would be funny. And just, even if it wasn't like a reality show, I wouldn't mind seeing that like a realistic superhero show in real life anyway. There's tons of superhero shows. There has to be one. I can think of at least like 2 where it's like superheroes, but what would it be like in the real world, and not a world where people can fly, where it's just the superhero is just a normal person wearing a cape and being heroic. And I really did like the end where Justice Jack, basically, he reveals his identity in front of everybody and retires because he can't keep doing this. He's very upset that, his mom has been lying to him for so long just to get money. And the ending was not clear as to who gets the reward money of like $5,000 for returning the statue. And that kind of made me upset because I was really hoping to see who got the revard money from the mayor. But it was still a very funny entry. And you know me, I love comedy. I tell jokes all the time in these silly book reviews. Like, that's something that happens when I'm writing a book review. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I've gone 5 paragraphs without a single joke. Well, better throw a joke in here to spice things up. That's how I do it sometimes. A lot of the times. So, I love this very funny Sammy Keys book, but I will agree there's not a whole lot going in the way of story. And the stuff with her teen life is interesting, but this is definitely not a mystery book. It's definitely just more of a comedy for the series. And that's fine. I can still like it. But There's only 4 books left, right? So the series is sort of winding down. I don't know if the author knows that they're winding down the series. I think the next book is going to be Sammy Keys in Sin City, which this book sort of set up. Like, the Elvis impersonator wants to see her in Las Vegas. And that's going to be the next book. Okay. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about Sammy Keys and the Power of Justice Jack. Woo!